Hi everyone, and Bobikova is here. Today we are going to do the review of the chapter from the book Sociometry and the Science of Man by Moreno. Review is done by me and Bobikova in November 2025. So it is done for primarily for clinicians, facilitators, and educators. Introduction. Moreno's point that change runs on two engines, spontaneity, the act now spark, and creativity, the neural response solution the spark produces. He puts this duo ahead of drives and defenses and says they show up in real encounters, not just in the basement of your unconscious. I'm reading this through my own lens, researching psychodrama for self-help and video delivery. And my job is to shrink dense theory into bite-size, usable practical ideas with a wink and not yawn. The problem Moreno is solving. Psychology was very dominated by ideas like repression, sublimation, neurosis, libido, etc. Moreno says that frame is too passive and too backward looking. He thinks the real main problem of psychology is how people generate fresh, adequate responses in new situations. In other words, how they create a next move in the present moment. He explicitly positions his theory as an alternative to purely psychoanalytic explanations. Why this matters for us in 2025. This is exactly what we try to do in applied psychodrama, drama therapy, coaching, psychoeducation, even workplace trainings. Help someone produce a response they did not know they could produce without blowing them out of their window of tolerance. It's the window of tolerance idea of Dan Siegel. So what J.L. Moreno actually did, not just philosophy. This is not just armchair theory. Moreno describes using a theater of spontaneity, basically an early psychodrama lab where people enact real interpersonal scenes and are observed for readiness, anxiety level, adequacy of response, flexibility, originality, etc. He treated these enactments as test conditions for spontaneity and creativity in the here and now. Not just talk about it. He also emphasizes surplus reality. On stage, you can finish or replay what real life did not allow with support, so you get to complete something physiologically unfinished. So we are already looking at psychodrama as research in action, not just performance. Core usable ideas for practice. Spontaneity is adequate response to a new situation, not just being wild or different. If it is a new and it fits the moment, that is healthy spontaneity. If it is new but chaotic, disorganized, flooding, unsafe, he calls that pathological spontaneity. If it is technically appropriate but totally rigid and scripted, that is low spontaneity. This is gold when you are coaching self-regulation. You can say, we're not aiming for drama, we're aiming for a response that is both fresh and useful. Creativity is the product, spontaneity is the ignition. Spontaneity is the warm-up. Creativity is the created thing. A new role, a reframe, a repair boundary. The cultural conserve is what gets left behind after the act, like a script, a method, a norm. He warns that if we only repeat the conserve, we stop being alive in the moment. This is our field problem. Trainers teach the method and students imitate form without inner contact. Warm-up matters. He defines warm-up as the process that generates spontaneity. He treats warm-up as a measurable. Is that person anxious, frozen, oriented, able to mobilize? That means warm-up is not fluff. It is clinical prep. This is directly relevant for trauma-informed work and for digital delivery. This is my dissertation topic. Because we cannot just drop someone into catharsis without warm-up and expect regulation. In my video coursework and dissertation, I'm specifically studying whether short, structured video modules can safely train macro warm-ups and role-based self-support. For example, practicing a supportive inner voice or rehearsing a boundary without triggering full-blown trauma reenactment. This chapter basically gives theoretical backing for treating warm-up and contained role practice as legitimate mini creative acts, not just warm-up games. How to use it in 2026 practice? With clients, students, teams, we do not have to blow it all open. We can target a specific new adequate response and rehearse that. That is psychodrama at a micro scale. And it is ethically safer for self-help formats when you teach clients to use it at home. This is my dissertation focus. The chapter supports psychodrama as a generator of safe new roles, not just place to discharge pain. JL frames growth and building capacity for adaptive action in the present moment, not bleeding out on stage. Limitations of this chapter. There is no randomized trial. This is conceptual plus observational lab work from psychodrama sessions. Evidence level equal foundation theory, not outcome data. His language is very universal, absolute. Spontaneity is the supreme power of the world, which is inspiring, but not culturally or clinically nuanced by today's standards. He assumes you can stage intense material in modern trauma work and definitely in self-help video for the public. We have to gate that very hard. One safe micro practice you can immediately borrow for clients, students, or for yourself from this chapter. Warm up to a future you. Derived from Moreno's spontaneity warm-up idea, scaled down for self-use. Put an empty chair in front of you. Imagine the you who has already handled the current situation in a healthy way. Sit in that chair and speak out loud one sentence that starts with, "Here is what I did that helped." And return back to your chair, to original seat, and take the message in. Right? You do a quick role reversal with your future you. This builds an adequate new response creativity by inducing a brief focused warm-up spontaneity rather than dragging you through the full past trauma content. Conclusion. Moreno says change comes from spontaneity, the life spark, plus creativity, the new role, not just catharsis or analysis. He treats warm-up as clinically meaningful and measurable, not fluff, and builds psychodrama around rehearsing adequate new responses in the here and now. For us now, this supports teaching micro-action tools like brief role rehearsal and supportive self-dialogue in short, structured video lessons and psychoeducational courses, which is exactly what I'm building in my video library and studying in my dissertation on self-help psychodrama. Stay with me for my future projects. Thank you for watching. See the reference in the link and go to check out our articles archive. See you in the next video. Namaste.